So, Mohammed, where are you based?
It's a good question. So I'm based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Hiram is actually based in India.
So you are in Canada like me?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let me set it up, the PowerPoint, while we are waiting.
If you don't mind me asking, which part of Canada are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm based in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Oh, me too.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I am at UBC.
Ah, awesome. I live in Langley.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it says this will stop other screen sharing. Okay, do you want to continue? Yes, let's do this. And then advanced portion of screen share. All right, so then I'll go to
Oh, you also into RCSI. That's pretty cool.
yes, so I started in Pakistan and then I went to RCSI, then I went to Harvard in Boston, and then I went to Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I, sorry, just let me do this. Come on. There. Yes. And then I landed in yeah. So I'll just briefly describe how, you know, why the journey, how the journey, and, you know, if I can do it, then I can do it.
I think you froze there for a second. We lost you there.
Mohammed, what is the dream?
The dream. It's a good question.
Wait.
I'm
Okay, you
definitely.
hold that. Hold that. If you cannot answer
All
it
right.
instantly, then hold on. Okay, who's next in my? Sorry, I'm going to call out people because according to how I see them, and you don't have to answer the question. But who comes next? Next is, how do I see the name, Mohammed? I see your name, but I don't see other names.
Can you see their screen, like their
I
camera?
can see the person. If there is no picture, then I see a name. But if there is a picture, I don't see a name.
There's usually a name at the bottom.
If you go into the participants
Oh,
tab,
yes, you are talking Haram. What is the dream, man? Now I see your name. When you spoke, your name came up. What
I
is your
see.
dream?
So that's a hard question, but I think
Okay,
right now I
hold
want to
on
be.
then. Hold on. Let me tell you how I see, you know, how what comes to my mind. Where are you from, my friend?
I'm from Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, India. Okay, so do you remember a name, uh, Abdul Kalam?
Yes, absolutely.
He was the scientist and then he was the president of
Absolutely.
India.
President. Yeah.
So this is what he said. He said, dreams are not what you see during sleep. They are the things that do not let you go to sleep.
Let you sleep. Yeah.
Right? So you talk to the world. You mention dream. The first thought that comes to mind is sleep, right? But
Uh,
look at how successful people think differently. So let me go to the next person. I'll come back to all of you. So next person is my friend in British Columbia. I still don't see your name, my friend, but what's the name? How do I see the name?
Dream is
Moon, yes.
a philosophically challenged idea.
Sorry?
It's a really widely debated philosophical challenged idea
Okay.
in the sense that it can be defined based on your religion,
All right.
your background,
All right.
and your beliefs.
All right. So let's go to Amy. Amy, what's the dream? Maybe she's not there. Julia, what's the dream? Bia. Okay, so the students are not there yet or not back yet. All right. So you let me tell you, or should we wait for the students to join? Come back.
Yeah, we'll just give them another 5 minutes.
All right. So I do a lot of coaching and mentoring of students, and it is all remote. So students who want to get into business school or public health school or medical school or dental school. And my research is, where did the, wait a second. So there, yes. Now I can't see anybody. I don't know. This is technologies. I've been on Zoom, like this is my third sort of talk today so far. Right. Your screen is paused. It says new share now. Participants there. Yes. Okay. No.
Do you also do any like relationship advices?
I can do that. Yes. Yes, I can. Wait. Because that's part of your career. You know, that's the thing. If you, how do I, how do I get the screen back where I can see others? I can see my PowerPoint, but I cannot see anybody. So I don't know who's there.
That's what I would call a dream.
Sorry.
My dream, relationship advice.
Go ahead again, man.
My dream? You asked me what dream is to me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Relationship.
Yeah, that's good. That is good. That is good. But relationship with whom? Relationship with a human being, relationship with God, relationship with environment.
You can, I think you can see the list of other participants if you click up at the, you have a panel, like a control panel, and you can click on the participants. And then
Participants,
that,
yeah,
that
I'm
should
clicking on that,
give you,
but then the screen appears where no, I don't see. See, previously I could see their pictures. I did something wrong. I don't know, but anyway, that's all right. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Presenter view. Because previously I could see my own self and everybody else. Now I don't see anybody. I just see the PowerPoint.
maybe you can try stop sharing for a second and then reshare your screen. Maybe that can fix it.
Stop share open. Yes, now I see you. Yes. So I don't know what I did, but yeah. And then I reshare. Screen share. Portions. Again, everybody's disappeared. So I don't know. I messed up with the setting maybe or something. When my PowerPoint appears, then everything else disappears. It's just the PowerPoint that I can see.
We'll let you know if you have any questions in the chat.
Please. Thank you.
Maybe we can start.
Should we
Okay.
start?
Yeah. I'll just briefly maybe introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Dr. Faisal Khosa. Dr. Khosa has done extensive training in radiology, including a radiology residency in Europe and the IMG alternate pathway diagnostic radiology certification for USA and Canada. He has an MBA and several leadership courses under his belt. He maintains a keen interest in mentoring and coaching of medical students and physicians. Dr. Khosa's expertise includes mentoring of minorities and underrepresented groups. His research on equity, diversity, and inclusion workshops serve as catalysts for social change. From the Researchathon team, we would like to welcome Dr. Khosa and thank him for his time. Uh, Pass the mic on to you, Dr. Khosa.
Thank you so much. So I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
So the topic I chose was success made ridiculously simple. And the reason for that was because we think success is hard. Success is a few disciplines, few simple disciplines practiced every day, and failure is lack of disciplines in daily life. So my journey started in Pakistan, and from there I went to Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. Uh, I did my post graduation there, I did my postgraduate qualification and training. From there, I moved to Boston. I was at Harvard for 5 years. I did my US certification, Canadian certification there. From there, I moved to Emory University where I practiced and I did an MBA. And from there, I have moved to University of British Columbia. So I've practiced medicine in different parts of the world. I've lived in different parts of the world, and I've been fortunate to have experienced population in diverse settings. So that's my journey. So let's talk about the essentials for success. The first and foremost essential is hunger. You have to be hungry. Next comes faith. You have to have faith in yourself and faith and belief in your creator or maker, that the creator or maker will always reward hard work. Next comes experience. After that is company, mentor, and then giving back. And that's the cycle. If you want to continue to grow and continue to succeed, that cycle shouldn't be interrupted. In life, you are either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. So, green and growing is always better than ripe and rotting. And growth of any kind is never a painless process. So, that's why it is called growing pains. So, if you want to continue to succeed and build on your success, then you have to endure growing pains, and then you have to intentionally stay green. Let me show you a video that will explain what hunger means. This is one video and one way of looking at hunger. Can anybody explain what they saw or what they think they saw?
There was
Go,
like a
go ahead.
dangerous animal, and hunters were trying to, hunt it down or tame it in some way.
Okay, so the video shows that there are two gentlemen and there are two cheetahs, and cheetahs had hunted a deer. So these two individuals, these two human beings with simple sticks took away the deer that the cheetahs had hunted. Hungry cheetahs, they took away their food away from them just with sticks. Did everybody, I hope everybody saw that, and I've explained it to you as well. So this is what hunger is. If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, I'm sure many of you have seen or come across somebody who is asthmatic. Yes, I cannot see your faces, so of course, unfortunately, I don't know what I did to my settings, so I can't see your faces. But yeah, so
You
this
have a
is
couple of yeses in the chat, yeah.
okay. Okay, let me see. Yes, so this is what I mean by hunger. If you are as hungry as these people are for food, if you are as hungry for success, then you'll find a way. All right, so this is faith. This gentleman is Eric Weinmeier. He was blind by birth. Guess where he is standing?
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, absolutely. Mount Everest. So a blind man is standing on the summit, on the top of Mount Everest. This is faith. This is hunger. This is faith. To climb a mountain like Mount Everest, the rigorous training schedule is at least 10 years. And 4 out of every 10 climbers either gets critically injured or dies. So this guy, blind by birth, but look at his commitment that he climbs the Mount Everest and has a picture on top of it. And he was on Times Magazine and he's been interviewed several times. Faith both, yes, faith on yourself, faith on your surrounding, faith in your creator, faith in your maker. Yes, faith, absolutely. Let's look at a few more who overcame adversity because they had faith. The only difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is how you use them. A stumbling block is as much a piece of concrete as a stepping stone is. It's how you see them, how you perceive them, and how you use them. The first picture of on the top left is Mary Kay Ash. She resigned when she was passed over for a promotion in favor of a white male. That the person that she had trained herself in 1963 at age 45 with a $5,000 investment from her oldest son, she started Mary Kay Cosmetics, and then it became a sensation all over the world. The lady on the right, uh, Rosa Parks, she started a revolution when she refused to give up her seat for a white male. Mary Curie, the lady on the left, that the inscription says, be less curious about people and more curious about ideas. She's the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the first person and only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win twice in multiple sciences, different sciences. And then the gentleman on this picture is Nelson Mandela. He was 27 years in prison. He died in 1997. We are still discussing him. I'm showing you his picture. And all of them saw stepping stones where the rest of the world would see stumbling blocks. So, just imagine he spent 27 years in prison, solitary confinement, most of it. Can you or I spend 27 hours in a prison and still be optimistic about life and still be positive that we'll be successful? And after, during our lifetime, we'll have a celebrity status like Mandela, and after our death, people will still, 20 years later be discussing us. So that is what faith is. I'll show you another one. Who remembers this? Or who's heard of this? Or who's seen this video?
The Tiananmen Square.
Yes, the tank man. The tank man. What did he do?
He basically, while tanks were rolling down the street, he stood in front of them and didn't let them pass.
He stopped the tanks. So what happened is that the tanks were going to go and crush, in 1989, pro-democracy demonstrations between the Chinese officials and protesters led to riots. And so there was a big congregation of people who were sort of marching, and these tanks were sent to crush them. So this gentleman, and the beauty is nobody knows who he is. So he just appeared, he stopped the tanks. The tank drivers came out of the tank. This is on YouTube. And then this man who was actually carrying bags, he was carrying stuff going home, and he just saw that the tanks are going to crush the writers, and in that moment went, stood in front of the tanks, and the tank stopped. So this is faith. Please don't try this at home. All right, so let's talk about experience, the ingredients of success that I was telling the circle about. Experience, carry your past like a book in front of you so you can learn from it. Most of us carry the past like a mountain on our shoulders. So it only crushes us. It doesn't help us, it doesn't support us. All of you, even me, we all have a past. You cannot erase the past. You cannot change the past by constantly reliving it in your head. You cannot change the past by constantly thinking about it. But you can have a better future by learning from the past, by carrying it like a book. So don't carry it like a mountain. Company, you can be with heroes and be a superhero. You can be with villains and be a super villain. Both are fine. But you cannot fly like an eagle if you hang out with turkeys. Each one of us is the average of the 5 people we spend most time with. So choose wisely, as your association automatically determines who you will become. Stay away from those who try to dare or shame you into doing wrong things. We've all had friends who either dared us or shamed us into doing stupid things. Don't fall prey to that, and avoid those who glamorize laziness, lack of hard work, stealing, cheating, lying, getting away with stuff. You will come across, I've come across many who glamorize that they do very little work and yet draw full salary. But those people are never examples. They are bad examples at best, if they are. It's just that momentary glory that they have in telling a story, but those people don't amount to much. The picture at the bottom, would anybody like to take a shot of what they think is going on? Picture at the bottom on this slide.
Was that an experiment maybe conducted in the
It
past?
looks
Oh, sorry,
like,
go ahead, Noor.
Sorry, some lady is going to speak. Please go ahead.
okay, I was just, yeah, saying that it looks like there's some dogs racing and there's also a,
Your voice is cutting in and out. Sorry, it's in and out. I can't quite comprehend.
yeah, I was just saying it looks like there's some dogs racing and there's a cheetah there as well, but the cheetah isn't even trying to race, it's just staying in its area.
Yes. You know why? Because if a cheetah runs a dog race, what are you going to call him?
Probably a cheater.
You will call him a dog. So if a cheetah competes with the dogs, the cheetah has stooped low to the level of the dogs. That's number one. Yes, exactly. Somebody typed no difference. And cheetah knows that he can run faster than them. More importantly, cheetah knows he doesn't belong in that competition. The cheetah knows that he is not in that competition. He shouldn't be in that competition. So yes, while somebody brought and sat the cheetah down, when the race started, the cheetah had nothing to prove, didn't get into a dog race. All right, so what will a mentor do? If you were traveling in a car, what would you make at a junction like this? Or what, if you were in a park, running in a park, what would you make of these instructions? Life is no different. There are many pathways at every junction. Whether you decide to do something, you don't decide to do something, whether you delay your decision, whether you procrastinate. So life is similar riddles, but that is where a mentor comes in, because a mentor has the experience, has the expertise, has your best interest at heart. The mentor has connections to facilitate you. And so this is where a mentor comes in, and I'll talk about that a little bit Let's look at this video. It's a video where people, students are playing basketball and they will pass the ball to each other. And in the audience, I would request you to please count how many times the basketball is passed between people wearing white t-shirts. Now, everybody understands the question. I'm requesting everybody to count the number of times the basketball is passed between people or students wearing white t-shirt. Everybody with me? Should I start the video? All right. Sorry, hit up. That's with the technology. All right, how many times did we count? 13. Okay. Anybody else? 14. Good. Yeah. 13, 14. Yes. Anybody else? Okay. So we've got more than 3 people here. So let's hear everybody. Yeah, that's fine. 12, 13, 14. Yes. So what you have to now notice is that we all looked at the same thing at the exact same time, correct? But the answer is 12, 13, 14, 13, right? And so this is what come on. Sorry, I'm trying to play the video again. Come on. Yes. All right. So the answer will come in a minute. All right. So this shows that we looked at the same thing and then we perceived and we counted differently, and some of us missed the gorilla. And the gorilla can be an opportunity. Gorilla can be the next job. Gorilla can be the next admission to a university opportunity. And that's exactly where the mentor comes in. And a good mentor, the definition of a good mentor is that the good mentor will provide you tailor-made solutions. I see when a job is advertised, or when this institution is affirmative action, equal opportunity employer. If you give everybody the same opportunity, you are setting some for success and some for failure. Somebody who has polio in one leg will not benefit from best running shoes in the world. They instead need either a leg cast, or they instead need wheelchair, or some other assistance. But best running shoes in the world are not going to benefit them. Whereas if somebody is an athlete and a runner, yes, they need those best running shoes in the world. So if you have different people and you give them the exact same opportunity, you are actually doing disservice to some of them. And this picture actually depicts what equality is and what equity is, what equal opportunity means versus tailor-made solutions. So instead of focusing on the start line, the focus should be on getting everybody across the finish line. So here the clay is the exact same. The hands, which is synonymous with a mentor, determines whether you will be a prized possession or whether you will become brick and mortar and then be plastered over and painted and not be noticed. Whereas this will be appreciated, this won't even be noticed. Let me So when the people ask me how to find a mentor, it's the other way around. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And what does a teacher or a mentor do? Establishes a sense of urgency, removes barriers from your path, does not let the mentee give up in face of adversity or disappointments. And Charles Darwin famously said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one that is most responsive to change. So the speaker before me was talking about, how technology has evolved and how things are different and how things will be different. Dinosaurs became extinct because they refused to change. So that's the litmus test we have, that they are only in museums now. They are nowhere else. All right, so finding a mentor, how to look for a mentor. It's very easy. You look at the research profile of the mentor, you look at the mentor's website, you look at their institutional website. Also, you go to PubMed and look at their publication list. Then from the, sorry, just a second. Then from the publication list, you click on the publication list and you can see how many papers do they publish in a year, what are their collaborations, which institute, people from which institutes are on their manuscripts, on their papers. You can also check out, go back 3 4 5 years and check out, just take the name, put it in Google and see where that student is now, where whatever student worked with a mentor, where that student is now. And you can also check their collaboration. So I'll give you an example. Last year, because of COVID, research came to a grinding halt because recruiting patients and getting performers or forms filled in by the patients to, and doing additional tests on patients, um, were not permitted because of risk of spread of COVID, or patients getting COVID, or physicians getting COVID, or researchers getting COVID. So my research is exclusively in gender and racial disparity in academic disciplines. So faculty, trainees, professional societies, editorial boards of journals, grant and funding agencies. So that data students collect sitting in the comfort of their home. They don't have to come to the hospital. They don't have to have contact with any patient or anything. Patient related research, there is confidentiality, so that cannot be given to somebody outside the institution. So there are multiple institutional filters that prohibit uh, sharing patient data with anybody else, or hospital data with anybody else. But this research that I do is totally publicly available data. So I've got students in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, in US, in Canada, remotely working and doing research with me. Then that data is compiled. I give it to a statistician. I pay the statistician. Statistical analysis is done. Every team has students at different levels. So we've got high school students, undergrad students in the same team, and we've got medical students or business school students. So the medical student or business school student is then the leader of the team and is responsible for making sure that everything is done in a timely and orderly manner. And then the medical student will write the manuscript. So for example, the medical student who wanted to go into dermatology or plastic surgery or neurosurgery, so the project then is neurosurgery. The medical student's interest is getting a publication, getting my letter of reference, and matching in that discipline, whatever that discipline is. The undergrad student's interest is getting into medical school or public health school or dental school. So it is a win for the medical student by doing that research, publishing the paper. It is a win for the undergrad student, and it is a win for the high school student, because all three of them, all four of them, whatever the team composition is, they get authorship, they get my letter of reference, and they get to their next destination. Also, another important thing in this is that you will see everybody will talk about competition, or what is he doing and what is she doing. When you are applying for example dental school or medical school, you have done volunteering, you have an athletic ability record, whether that is long jump, high jump, swimming, whatever, and you have your GMAT scores. Now, all applicants have sort of similar credentials. So you all are sort of competing for a limited number of positions. Whereas by doing gender and racial disparity research, I'll give you an example. If there is a female, that gender and racial or if there is a person of color, or if there is a racial minority, that gender and racial disparity research not only enhances your resume, but it also matches your personal physical profile. So then you are creating a win on many avenues. Your CV, number one, by having a publication, in a peer reviewed high impact journal, enhances and elevates your profile, your CV. So when you're applying, you are the only one or one or two people out of hundreds of applicants will have done that. Whereas GMAT, everybody has done. Athletic ability profile, everybody has done. Observership, elective, and even social work, almost every student has done, because everybody knows you've got to check all those boxes before you will be allowed to interview for such a position. But by doing this, creating something so different and so unique, your competition is then irrelevant. You are one of a kind. And similarly, because you've done something so unique, when you go into the interview, most of the questions in the interview are about that research project and that publication, because they want to know, how did you creatively think of doing something so unique? What challenges did you face through that journey, and how did that come about, and how did that end up so well? And then, of course, as a mentor, whenever I write a letter of reference, whenever, I'll enlist all those steps, and I include the link of the publication, so that the person reading that letter of reference, whether that is electronic or PDF or whatever, just clicks on that link and the publication opens up. So the person does not have to go and search you as an applicant, whether that is a job applicant or that is a admission applicant. And so the research available opportunities, as I said, it's all publicly available data. There is no institutional sort of filters that will stop an outside student from doing my research. And last year, I published 52 scientific articles on gender and race, gender and racial disparity. So it was almost one a week. And there were over 100 students that worked, that got into dental school, medical school, public health school, from undergrad, and those who were already in medical disciplines matched into whatever discipline they wanted to practice in the future. And so you get an authorship by doing something like that. You get reference letters, you will get advice and support for admissions, for residency, for fellowship, for employment from the mentor. And you also develop collaborations with leaders in academic medicine or academic dentistry or academic public health across North America and across the world. So, Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and this is a reason for being, and there are many sort of circles, as you can see, that overlap, and you've got to determine which one works best for you. So for some, it will be passion, some it will be mission, some it will be vocation, some it will be profession, and it is a combination and overlap of these circles which will determine your existence and reason for your existence, and how satisfied you are with your life and your progress and your profession and your philanthropy and your giving back. So success, there is no right way or wrong way to measure success. If you look at 95, 96, 97% of the world, their success is this equation. And for some success, very few, success is this equation. And I'm not saying which one is right, which one is wrong. That is entirely up to you, and you determine what success is for you. There is no universal definition of success. So, and stop and ask me questions, because this is interactive. This should be interactive. I don't believe in a monologue, I believe in a dialogue. By the way, can anybody recognize which film this scene is from? No, nobody's seen this? All right, so if you have not, then what I'll do is I'll skip it. All right, so just showing you some students exactly like you, that have sort of worked with me, have been successful in admissions, in sort of job applications. So these are all, and they are from all over the world: Canada, US, Europe, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So they are from all over the world. And I just asked one student, I said, just compile a few pictures from some of the folders that I have. So every year I have a folder, and I ask the student, whoever I'm mentoring, if they're comfortable, send me their picture. And so I have folder for every year, and there are like maybe 100 students or 110 or 90 or 80, whatever students per year. So I just asked one of the students to take a few pictures from every sort of yearly folder and just put them in this PowerPoint. So these are all the students who have sort of worked with me. And so, in concluding thoughts, you cannot fail unless you quit. Abraham Lincoln, you can see the list of how many times he lost the election, lost the job, had a nervous breakdown. From 1832 to 1860, 28 years of continuous successive failures, almost similar to Nelson Mandela's 27 years in prison. So then he became the president of US. Also remember, human mind is like a parachute. It only functions when it is open. And also remain fixated in your goals, but be flexible in your approach. People are the other way around. People are fixated in their approach and are flexible in their goals. It has to be the other way around. And so every equation, every situation has lessons, and the lesson here is that results speak for themselves. So a cab driver gets a priest, as you can see here, gets into a cab, and he's going from one church to the other and is in a rush. So he says to the cab driver, hurry up. So the cab driver drives recklessly, does not stop at red lights, crosses all the red signals, and breaks the law again and again. And the priest is afraid for his life, and he's reciting the beads, and he's praying, and he's thinking of God. And when the car comes to a stop at the destination, he gets out of the cab, admonishes the cab driver, and says, you will go to hell. And the cab driver says, but what did I do? I got you from where you wanted to, from one church to the other. He said, but you endangered my life, your life, and everybody else's life on the street. So after a few years, the priest dies, is greeted by the angel at the door of the heaven, is given two wings and access to paradise. So the priest is very happy and pleased with himself, and he is flying, and all of a sudden hears a beautiful flute. Somebody's playing a flute. Looks down, it's the cab driver. He has a golden flute, 6 pairs of wings, and a castle by the ocean in paradise. So he flies back to the angel and is angry, perturbed. He says, I preached long sermons, I served God, I invited people to the message. I should get those 6 wings, that golden flute, and that castle by the ocean. And the angel says, everything you're saying is true, but the fact of the matter is, when you preached long sermons, the entire audience would fall asleep. When he drove recklessly, everyone prayed. So it's all results oriented. At the end of the day, never confuse movement with achievement. They are two separate entities. Movement can create achievement, but they're not the same thing. They're different things. So I'll take questions if you have any. And thank you so much for the invite, and for allowing me to speak, and for your attendance.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khosa. We have a question in the chat. So Bia asks, thank you so much for the very valuable lessons. What success tips do you have for students in high school?
Well, I just told you that high school students come and work with me. They don't have much experience or expertise, but what they are given is an Excel file. In that Excel file, mostly it is Google Doc Excel file, which multiple students are sort of have access to, and they are sort of compiling data. And so, we'll tell them in a Skype call or in a Zoom call, 1 hour call, there will be multiple students from different parts of the world that will be told what they have to do. Then they are given also a Word document, so that whenever they uh, don't remember what they were told, they can sort of refer to that Word document to know what data to collect, how to collect it. and then on a weekly basis there is half an hour session in which progress is checked and data collection is checked, and if anybody has any questions or concerns, that is checked. And ultimately, it takes 8 months to a year from the start to publishing the project. Sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's longer. It can take longer, but ultimately, by doing all of that, you are getting a publication which no other high school student has. You are getting a reference from an accomplished person in North America, which no other high school student will have. So that's what I was saying. At every stage of your life, if you think about making the competition irrelevant, that's the smartest way of becoming a success. But if you're always going to get into competition, then you waste a lot of valuable energy and time in doing something that you could have avoided. And so we all have a limited amount of time on this planet. You can get more money. If it is raining where I am, I could take a plane and go somewhere where it is sunny, right? So I can get more sunshine and I can get more money and I can get more luxury. But what I don't have, or what is limited, is time. I cannot get more time. If I'm going to die today, I cannot plead with God to allow me to live 5 more days. That's sort of predetermined. So think of a way where you will save your valuable energy and your valuable time and spend it somewhere wisely instead of getting into competition. And this is what I see left, right, and center. Students are focused on getting into competition and beating the competition or defeating the competition, which is totally, totally irrelevant. You should think wisely and smartly.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And for all the participants looking to get involved and potentially publish with you, how can they get in touch or apply to become a research assistant under
So,
you?
so they can, first of all, what, it's all publicly available. So that's why I never give my email. If somebody is smart enough, they'll see my name, they'll search me, and in the next 2-3 minutes, they'll know how to contact me. That's number one. Number two, you also have to uh, make sure, and I'll give you an example. We had a project in which 5 students, undergrad students, were collecting data. So they all collected data for 3 months, 5 to 6 hours every week. And then they had disagreement amongst themselves. And one of those students actually deleted everybody's data because it was Google Doc Excel file, right? Somebody was in India, somebody was in US, somebody was in Canada, somebody was in Israel, somebody where, I don't know. But so they had disagreement on something and one of them deleted the data. So I also have to know from your track record, something should tell me that you are not going to be that student who will destroy everybody else's data collection, who will not sabotage everybody else for a silly argument they had with somebody. So students do this, and this is where I have to have certain litmus tests of the student, where I know that this student is not going to destroy everybody else's work. This student is not going to sabotage everybody else's work. Now, you have to figure out how to do that. I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but you have to figure out how to do that. I'll give you a few examples. Some students write to me and their father is their referee, their mother is their referee. Now, that is unacceptable because the last name is the same. And I'll ask, how come your father is your referee? Oh, because I want to be a physician and my father is a physician. No, a referee cannot be your father. A referee cannot be your blood relation. And people do these silly things. And then they say, oh, we wrote to Dr. Khosa, and Dr. Khosa connected with us once on Skype, and after that, he never responds to my email. Now, this to me is common sense. If you lack common sense, how can I mentor you? I can polish your skill and ability, but I cannot give you common sense. Either you have common sense or you don't, right? So this is what I tell people, that if you contact me in a way where your email has spelling mistakes, where there is no subject in the email, where your CV has spelling mistakes. Now, I cannot teach you English. I cannot teach you how to spell words, right? I can teach you how to do research. I can teach you how to get publications. I can teach you how to become successful, but I cannot teach you the things that were taught to you in kindergarten. I don't have a school that you are coming to attend, right?
Thank you. And we also have a couple more questions in the chat as well. So someone asked, what is your thoughts on motivation versus discipline?
You need both. You need both. Sometimes you need more discipline than motivation, and sometimes you need more motivation than discipline, because motivation is what will get you started, but it is the discipline that will take you to the destination, to the journey. Because repeated bouts of motivation might make you change course every few days, 10, 20, 30 degrees, right? So if you motivation is what will get you up walking, and then discipline is what will take you to your destination, so that you don't get distracted by everything that goes on your Twitter or on your Facebook or whatever. I had a student I am mentoring currently, and he said, Dr. Khosa, I go to the library and I spend 8 hours a day in the library. I said, do you take your cell phone with you? He said, yes. I said, open up your cell phone, tell me your screen time. Now that your cell phones smartphones give you, screen time. So he said, I have 13 hours of screen time every week. So I said, do you study on your phone? He says, no. I said, do you do any research work on your phone? No. He says, I have a laptop for that. So I said, what do you do on your phone? He says, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So I said, just multiply that approximate 10 hours or 12 hours a week by 52 weeks. What is the total? Can anybody tell me? 12 times 52 is 624 hours, right? And how many days is that? How many days is that? Come on, guys, you are youngsters. You should be much faster than me. 624 hours is how many days?
26.
26 days. So I said, you are working only 11 months of the year. Anybody who's working 12 months will be far ahead of you, correct? If you are wasting 26 days in a year and somebody is using that, putting that to use. So he said, what do I do? I said, leave the phone at home, because your library time, do whatever you want at home. But if you're taking this to the library, then you are not studying 8 hours. In your mind, you're saying it's 8 hours, but maybe 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day from your study time is being spent on social media. So just imagine whoever is doing 9 hours of studying versus you doing 6 hours of studying a day. That to me is common sense. Whoever is doing 3 hours more than you is going to achieve more than you, is going to be more successful than you. Although they might be spending the same amount of time on phone, but not in the library. Not in the library.
Thank you. That was very insightful, and I like the analogy that you made there.
I'll take one more last question, then I have to prepare for the next session, the next talk on Zoom.
Right.
Somebody, another group is waiting.
Yeah, I think that might be it in terms of questions. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you, Dr. Khosa, for your time. We really appreciate it, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. We wish you the best, and take care.
Best of luck. God bless.